In this video I'm going to do the Tomcat assignment. In this assignment, what we're going to do is download Tomcat and extract it from an archive. That's all we need to get Tomcat. And then in the second step, we're going to install the Web Tools project plugins inside of Eclipse. And the third step, we'll create a test web project, and we'll run Tomcat inside of Eclipse and view our a web page through Tomcat, or through our browser, which will retrieve the web page from Tomcat. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. The first step is to download Tomcat. Let's go to the Tomcat website, and we will download the most recent stable version of Tomcat, which is at this point Tomcat 7.0.20. Let's go ahead and download that. And of these choices, we have these basic choices. Each of these is a version of the Tomcat system. And the version that I want to use in all cases, whether it's Windows, Macintosh, or Linux, is this first choice, which is that zip file right there. So let's go ahead and download that. This first choice will work in all cases. I believe this is the easiest route to take. Let's take a look at that, and I'm going to see that. Looks like I have that already extracted. I've already downloaded this. So just to show a little bit more about how that's done there, we'll delete that and delete that. So when you get to this point, you'll have downloaded this file. I don't need the Eclipse zip file anymore. And so we extract that. I'm right on my desktop. That's where I want it to be. You can put this anywhere actually, but don't put it in the folder here that is the working copy of our repository. I don't need to have this in the repository, but this is fine where it is here. So that's the first step, downloading Tomcat. Now it's pretty straightforward. And now the second step is to install the Web Tools project plugins. And let's go ahead. By the way, this link up here, which is optional reading, is a pretty short tutorial on how to use the Web Tools project in Eclipse. It covers a lot of material, more material than we need for this assignment. Anyway, let's go back, and we'll need to run Eclipse. I'm going to start up Eclipse. And go to this help menu, and then install new software. We're going to select a repository, this Indigo repository, and there's lots of plugin collections that we can choose from to do various things. And we need the item on the bottom there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to select that entire collection of items. It's web, XML, and so on. So it shows me what will be installed. I'm going to hit next and then accept the license agreements. I'll pause the video while this is completing. Okay, that process of downloading and installing is completed, and we need to restart Eclipse for the change to be effective. Accept the workspace. There's a new help screen which actually has links to items, a welcome screen rather, which has links to items related to what we just installed. I'm going to clear that. Alright, so we have completed this second step of this exercise. Now the final step is to create a web project, and this project is going to be called Tomcat, and it will contain a single web page or HTML file called index.html. and will have the following contents. Let's go ahead and do that. I'll just copy those contents. So I right click in here, add new, not a Java project. What we're going to do here is select from a list of project types, and there's a category called web. We'll expand that, and we will select a dynamic web project. And in fact, what we're going to create is a static website, but for the purposes of what we want to do, we need to select dynamic web project. That will allow us to serve our static content through Tomcat, which will be important because in a subsequent exercise we'll need to access the that website through the Android emulator. So anyway, we need to select dynamic web project here. The project name is Tomcat, and here we have the target runtime. And we don't have a runtime yet defined, so we need to do that. So we're going to click New Runtime, and as you can see, there are these these are all what are called web containers. And this is, IBM has a web container called WebSphere. So if we had installed WebSphere on our computer, we could select this as our server runtime environment. JBoss is another company that builds that maintains a web container, or a J2EE server. That's sometimes called. That includes Enterprise Java Beans as well as the web container, and so on. So here's Oracle. Oracle's another popular web container. But the web container that we have downloaded is called Tomcat, which is an Apache project, by the way. It's the same organization that maintains the Apache web server. And the version of Tomcat that we have downloaded is the most recent, version 7.0. So we'll select that from the list. And here I'm going to create a new local server with this as part of this process. Alright, so the name of this server runtime environment is Apache Tomcat version 7.0. We'll leave that as the default setting, but we need to specify the Tomcat installation directory. I will browse to that. I've never tried to use this download and install, but that looks interesting. Someday I'll experiment with that. But let's browse to the Tomcat folder, which we have created in a previous step. So this is the path to the Tomcat folder. That looks good. Let's hit finish on that. So now the target runtime is Apache Tomcat version 7.0. So we have one there. We can add other runtimes, other web containers, other web servers that we could use, but in this class we're only going to be using one. Now let's go ahead and click through the rest of this, and these are some other settings that we're simply going to select the defaults here. We don't need a deployment descriptor for this project, so I'm not going to generate that. Our content directory will be web content. That'll be a folder where we put the index.html file. This kind of project is associated with the Java EE perspective. That's Enterprise Edition perspective. Do you want to open this perspective? And I'm going to say, remember my decision. I'm going to say no, although it doesn't matter that much. So here's the folder with Tomcat in it. So let's take a look at that. And as you can see, there's the web content folder, and there is some subfolders in there that we can ignore for now. Later we'll be using these, but for now we're just creating static content in this web content folder. So I'm going to select web content folder, right click, and do new, and it'll be a HTML file that's in there. So we want to, let's see, I'm going to select this one, and I'll do new. I don't see HTML file listed in here. I don't know if it's I said it doesn't matter, but I'm going to it's surprising. I thought it would come up in the list. There it is, HTML file. It really doesn't matter. I could have selected the just an ordinary file. But what happens here is it'll generate a stub for us. So I'm going to change the name to index.html and hit next. And there's different versions of HTML, and it's going to generate a stub based on the version of HTML that we specify. So I'm going to just leave the default in there, which is HTML 4.01 transitional. Let's go ahead and put that in there. As you can see, basically what it did was inserted this doc type declaration up there. And I think that this is useful, not so much for the browsers that will be loading the page, but it's useful for the tools that Eclipse will run that will give us the ability to modify this file. But we're not going to be looking at those tools in any detail. Alright, let's go back to the web page. Here's basically the content of the file that I want to put in there. Essentially, it's just this one HTML element, the H1 element. So let's go ahead and put that in there. That'll be in the body. We'll save that. And I mean, that's it. That's the web page. Now let's figure out how to run the server and view this web page in a browser. So there's a browser built into Eclipse. We can view the web page from that browser that's built into Eclipse. What I want to do is verify that we can view the web page with a browser that's running external to Eclipse. That'll be important for some of our later activities in the course. So let's see, I'm going to go up to the project here, Tomcat. Right click on that and do run as and run on server. And so it's showing us, basically it's going to create a run configuration for this project. And you know, a given project can have any number of run configurations. It's different ways of running the project. And we're going to use a single run configuration for this project, and it's generated that default values for that run configuration here. So you basically accept these. This is the server that we created. We checked a checkbox, which is to create an instance of this server profile, and that's what we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and hit next on that. These are the resources that will be configured into the server. We could actually add a number of different folders. So we can add additional folders here, but we're not going to do that. So I'll hit finish, and you can see this is the logging output of Tomcat. It's being printed to the console window down here. And this is important that sometimes I don't see any. There's a warning up here, but otherwise there's no errors. And what it did was it opened a new window, which is the internal browser that's built into Eclipse, and it's letting us view this website through that internal window. But what I want to do is, and as you can see, it's Tomcat is configured to run on port 8080. That's a default port that Tomcat is configured to run on when you download it. But what I want to do is look at that inside of the we'll look at that inside of the external web server. So I have a link to that here. Let's go ahead and look at that. There it is, hello world. And that's it. So that is, now we can shut down the server here. I click that red box, and that is should be shutting down the server. Let's verify that that was shut down. Yeah, see, now it's not coming up. Alright, that is almost completes the project, but now what we need to do is commit into the repository. So let's go back to Eclipse and right click on Tomcat and go down to Team, Share Project, Next, and use the existing repository location. That's good. And use the project name as the folder name. That's good as well. And here is the default comment, initial import. That's good. And now remember, there's a second step here. You need to go back to Team again and then commit. This is what writes all of the our work into the repository. So this is, I'm going to make a short comment. So created index.html. That's it. Let's do one more step. Let's verify that that we have correctly committed everything into the repository. So we'll go back to the Subversion assignment, which has that URL in it. Copy that, paste it in here, change the username, and there it is, Tomcat, and it has the web content folder, and there's our index.html file. Alright, that's it. That completes the not the Subversion assignment, that completes the Tomcat assignment.